When John McIntyre abruptly resigned as chair of the McLean County Board in September, little was publicly known about why he was leaving other than an undisclosed health reason. McIntyre, who turns 81 next week, now says he had a series of illnesses and medical complications that started last spring. County administration waited until McIntyre was feeling up to it to give him a proper send-off. Dozens of friends and colleagues came out for a private retirement reception Monday at the Bloomington VFW. McIntyre tells WGLT's Eric Stock he's had a couple of hospital visits over the last year, including shortly before his resignation, but he's on the mend now.
I was very fortunate at my age to not have anything that was terminal or anything that, but because of my family and the situation, everybody decided it was time for me to hang it up, so to speak. And I was enjoyed everybody. I enjoyed you guys. I enjoyed the board. There's so many people I've seen and I know, and it was a good retirement thing for me, but I think I have to think about traveling and family. We got grandkids all over the country, but none close. North Carolina and Florida, Chicago. So we're going to spend time and do that. So they kind of requested I do that.
So how tough a decision was it to actually break it off and call it quits?
Very tough. Very tough. I really do enjoy it. People they'd say, some people would say to me, there's a lot of stress and a lot of things going on and with the politics and so on. I said, it wasn't so bad. There's good people in this community. I'm very fortunate to have the support I had from both parties at different times. And, as you can expect, I'm just gradually took some time. I might have had to take a leave of absence for a couple months, but family kind of wanted me to go ahead and retire, and it was pretty abrupt because of the situation at the time. I just got out of the hospital, so it was my responsibility. So I just, I have some regrets, but also basically because I enjoy the people.
So you mentioned regrets. Are you talking about in your role as county board chair or anything, or just staying on when you?
No, primarily regrets and how the resignation came down and so fast. I don't know if you saw it, but I wrote a long email to all the board members and staff, but I think I could have done a little bit better job. I left too much room for interpretation and so people interpreted it, and that maybe I had serious illnesses. And there were some, but they weren't so bad. I mean, you know what I mean, that didn't prompt it as much as you would think. It was just time.
So that was in the first year of a 4-year term. You would have had 3 more years. Thoughts about unfinished business?
Really one reason I ran again, and last fall in 2022 in the fall, or even the spring before when I went through the primary, I really felt good. I had no intentions of thinking like that, of course. And then it just happened. Life changes pretty fast sometimes, and it happened to me. I have some regrets about how it happened and how it all went about. I didn't give enough warning. I felt like I left some of the board members hanging a little bit. We had worked out, I think, a very reasonable situation, and our board was doing pretty well with it, I thought.
But anything that you would have liked to have taken to the finish line, or you want to see your successors get to the finish line since you had to leave midterm?
Well, I think there's always been, because our board is known for a number of initiatives throughout the state of things that we took on, and one of them was the mental health initiatives, because what we were doing was extra, with the support of the councils, city council, town council, and taxes. What we were doing was actually extra to add on to what services we had, which most counties don't have the availability to do that or initiative to do it. And we were making progress. There were some frustrations with it, but I think I would have liked to have seen that through even better. There are some people on the board from both parties that will still dedicate themselves to doing that. And as I look back, there were more accomplishments than I realized that we had done. And of course, there was always COVID and all that we all went through and things like that. I'm glad that I could be on board and involved.
What would you highlight? You just mentioned COVID and bringing the mental health action plan along, but anything else that you want to highlight that you're most proud of in your time on the county board or public office, public service in general?
Oh, geez, there were so many things I think that I've thought about. They asked me to give a speech tonight, and I sat down and tried to write some things out. But it was like anything is. It's a team effort. It's a combined effort of all the county board. I did take a stand on some issues publicly. I think one of them was the escrows for the wind farms, and as a result, we were probably the first county that ever did draw the line with our wind farm companies on that and see that they actually followed through with their contracts. And I had support, and since that time the state has come around. We've kind of followed our lead on that one, and we hope that's going to be something that's impacted a lot of people.
Have you had interactions with any of the board members, including the board chair, Catherine Metzger, since you've left, for any insights or advice or anything that you would share?
Once I actually resigned and I was going through health issues, I pretty much made it a point not to interfere in any way, and I didn't want it to become a big political thing. There's too much of that in this country now, I think, going on, and some of our politicians around the country need to wake up a little bit and see if they can't be civil and work together more like they can if they would. And I think we were there. We were doing that with our county and our county board. Members from both parties. I appreciated that. I appreciated the compromises and the working together. That I hated to leave because I thought we were working hard to establish that. So that's something that I'd like to have followed through with some more. I'm hoping it works out. No, I haven't had very much interaction at all. Probably not as much as you would think or media people would think at all. I have a family and other things.
That was former McLean County Board Chair John McIntyre speaking with WGLT's Eric Stock. The former coach and educator served more than 20 years on the county board as a Republican. The county presented McIntyre with a green sign for a street that's been renamed in his honor, McIntyre Way, south of Bloomington. The stretch runs parallel to US 151 south of Bloomington from Brigham School Road to Margaret Street.